Hi people, good evening to you. This evening myself and Prepper N will be making Viking flatbread, as it's the easiest bread to make and requires the very simplest of ingredients and preparation. So in a pinch it's something we could all use. I'll hand you over to Prepper N who will run you through the ingredients.
So what you're going to need for Viking flatbread is the very basic. You're going to need plain flour, which is 89p for a kilogram of it from Tesco's. You'll need salt, water and optionally olive oil to get rid of a little bit of that floury taste. So first thing you're going to want to do is add about a mug's worth of flour, but make sure that you save some at the bottom for your...
So dust the board.
Dust the board. Then you're going to need a pinch of salt.
How much is a pinch? Like, show me.
Barely any.
Okay.
And now you add your optional olive oil.
And you say that kills the floury taste?
It kills that floury taste, but you do not need a lot of it. Just a drizzle. And while you do that, you can heat your pan on a low temperature, or if you're on a grill outdoors, make sure it's on embers and not a flame, because you don't want to cook the dough, you just want to heat it on both sides.
Right.
So
you're not frying an egg.
You're not frying an egg.
Yep.
You're just trying to cook the dough evenly so it will go through, so it's not raw in the middle.
Even heat.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So
right. Everything's in. Yep.
Now you have your water. Now when you're adding your water, it should go in a bit by bit, and make sure that you mix it in as you go.
Yeah, it's getting dumpy already.
So while you're adding the water in, you should see that there are clumps that form. Now that's completely fine. And if you're using a whisk a fork like I am to whisk, you should just be able to smush it together. And make sure you properly mix it in, because you do not want to drown the flour by adding too much water when needed.
So it's better to add too little and add a little more.
It's better to add too little than too much.
Splash it in there, yeah, or it turns to a goo.
So the ratio for water to flour should be about half a mug of water to a mug of flour. And once you get to about this consistency and this amount of flour, you will slowly stop adding your water, because it will get...
Yeah, it's working, yeah. So the flour, how much was it a kilo, did you say it was?
89p from Tesco's.
Okay, a pinch of salt and a smidgen of olive oil, and some water so far, so total cost 90p.
So once you've got it to a sticky dough, you will need the rest of the flour from in here. You do not need a lot at all, because if you have too much flour on your kneading surface, then it can cause the dough to dry in.
Just spread that.
So then once you put your dough on,
there, voila. Sorted, I'll take that. Okay.
so once you have your dough, you just really need to knead it, because it will be very sticky.
Need to knead it.
Need to knead it. So while I finish kneading this, we will pause so you don't have to see it.
Right, we'll catch you in a minute when the dough has been kneaded.
There's our dough. So while kneading the dough, we had to add a tiny bit more flour. However, if your dough is extremely sticky, just make sure that you keep adding flour to the board and not to the dough. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to separate this into two.
You get two out of that, yeah?
Yeah, we'll get 2 out of a mug of flour. So now we have that, we're just gonna...
Can I just eat that?
No, you can't just... I mean, you could, but it wouldn't be very tasty.
Mm.
So now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna pull this and flatten it. So then we can put it into our pan that has been heating since the beginning. So once you get it to about pita thickness and size, you're just going to want to place it gently in the pan. And you can hear that slowly sizzling. So
How long will that take?
that will take about 1 minute to 2 minutes on each side. So we'll get back to you when we flip it. So once you can start to see a very slow golding, I tend to very gently poke it with a fork to make sure that A, it doesn't bubble and too much like pita tends to, so you can have it as a proper bread, and so then it's flatter and less thick, so then it's not raw in the middle.
You're just flattening it out.
Yeah.
Going for the turn. Hey.
So we'll just let that...
That didn't take long actually.
It took about 1 minute.
Yeah, so sort of a minute, minute and a half each side.
We'll get back to you when we've cooked both of them because we'll do the other one off screen. So here is our flatbread. As you can see, I made one thicker and one thinner. Now, what you can do is you can either eat it cold, or I prefer to eat it hot because it gives more of a pancake feel to it. You can eat it by itself, or you can have it with butter or condensed milk.
I'm having mine with condensed milk. Oh yeah.
So it's a great snack. It's really simple to make. It took about 20 minutes as a whole to make the dough, to knead it, to cook it. So there you go. There is your Viking flatbread.
Excellent. Thank you, Pepper N. So you'll stay safe, stay fed, stay prepped.